Hello to anyone who is watching. In my last video, we took a look at this really neat little customized Kershaw leak with the tiger stripe acid etch on it. So if you have the time and you want to take a look at that video, I would definitely appreciate it. But for today, we are going to move this knife out of the way because we are focused on this one right here, the new for 2016 Kershaw Westin number 3460. And this is going to be a quick, hopefully speedy review of the knife, just trying to give you the gist of the pros and cons of this knife, trying to help you make the decision as to whether or not this is the knife for you and if it's something that you would want to purchase for yourself. All right, so jumping right into the specs of the knife, you can see it is a stainless steel frame lock. We have a faux G10 handle scale right here. And moving on to the blade, it is about 3.25 inches long of 8CR13 MOV, meaning that this knife is overseas produced in China, like most of Kershaw's 2016 line. But when we look back, pull out a little bit and take a look at this knife as a whole, you see what one of the really nice aspects of this knife is, and that's just the overall design and the lines of the knife. It's just classy, it's elegant, it's a good-looking EDC knife, and Kershaw did an excellent job, as they do a lot of times with this stonewash right here. It is brilliant and very complex and detailed, and again, adds a touch of class to what is otherwise a budget knife. You can see how nice that stonewash is right there. Does a very good job protecting the blade, and again, just gives it a very nice overall look. The shape of the knife, you've got a little bit of belly. Overall, it looks like a spear point, reminiscent to me at least of the Benchmade 531. I've heard a lot of people say it looks a lot like a Kershaw Skyline. I can see that as well. All right, moving on to the ergonomics and the handle scale. This is a faux G10. It's not nearly as grippy as G10, but it definitely gets the job done for a budget knife. These cutouts right here add a little bit of traction, and they're also very comfortable. So ergonomically overall, when you consider the fact that you have this choil right here too, and the flipper serves as a finger guard, overall it's a very comfortable knife. No real hot spots, but again, I have small to medium hands. If you have larger hands, you can see where your fingers might sit, and that might not be as comfortable. So keep that in mind. Up here, we have some jimping. No, we don't have jimping. It's just three little niches. It's not jimping. It doesn't do anything in terms of traction. It's just sort of there. But again, it doesn't hurt the knife, and you have this little dip right here where you can push down if you're going to do some choking up, and again, perfectly comfortable. So while the jimping isn't good, it's no real harm to the knife at all, and overall ergonomics are still very solid. All right, flipping over, we're going to look at one of the very big wins of this knife, one of the huge wins of this knife. It's this pocket clip. Kershaw is doing fantastic with this pocket clip in 2016. They've really gone above and beyond and gotten rid of a lot of those just generic clips that they stamped on every single knife, and they've really improved and given us some deep carry options in almost every one of their new knives, and that's very much appreciated. So this clip, like I said, it's deep carry. It is reversible to left or right side, but it is tip up only, which will be a problem for almost nobody. So again, great job, big win on the clip. So moving on to the functionality of the knife, the lockup is great. All right, and this is where this knife starts to separate itself from other knives in its class. It starts to say, hey, I am better than other $25 knives that you're going to find out there. And it is all in the function of the knife, which is very exciting when you have a budget knife that just functions very well. So again, lockup is perfect. Blade centering is absolutely perfect. I mean, perfectly centered blade right here. And then the speed of the speed safe mechanism is very similar to a USA made knife. All right, it feels more like a Kershaw Link than it does to anything that's made overseas. All right, I've had a couple other new for 2016 Kershaw designs. I've had the Showtime and I've had the Entropy, and I have very favorable impressions of both of those knives, but neither of them open nearly as nice as this, and neither of them are pictured as comparable options in this video because I sold them and kept this one. So that should tell you basically how I feel about the quality of this knife, the Westin, compared to those two knives. And again, the Westin's at $25. I think the Entropy right now is selling at $27, and the Showtime's at $26. So, you're going to find these knives all for the same price, and why would you go for one that is inferior? Even though it's a good inferior, those are good options. This is a step above, And overall, I'm not going to say that this is a good knife for the money. I'm just going to say it's a good knife. All right? It is a good knife. And it is one that when you're looking for a budget purchase and you're looking at other knives in its cost category, that's where you see a lot of value. All right, so it is a value knife, and it is just a good knife. So again, my highest recommendation there. If I had one negative about this knife, it would be very simple. It'd be that I would just like to see some higher end materials with this knife. I would like to see a limited edition with some maybe 154 cm or S30V and actual G10 here, because it's just such an excellent design that I would love to see something like that one day. But again, understandably, Kershaw makes this knife as cheap as possible so that it can get in the most hands as possible, and they did a really good job compromising the materials and the build to have a very good quality knife at a good cost. So again, really well done for Kershaw on this knife. Finally, just want to say thank you, and let me know what you think about this knife. If you have any questions, comments, complaints, suggestions, let me know in the comments down below. My next video will be about the new for 2016 Spyderco Little Lum, which I'll be getting in just a couple days, and I'm super excited about that. So tune in for that. And yeah, thank you again for your time. Have a good one.